Good morning, mid-morning. It's October 23rd. It's a Thursday. Wow, week's flying by. Visible satellite image, rain in the forecast, some dense fog advisories, some big surf advisories. The theme of this weekend is going to be atmospheric river, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not calling it that. It's been getting called that all week. Has fizzled out, which is just really the storm. Not fizzled out, but it's going to focus further north. So California, at my latitude, and further south, minimal disturbance. Any rainfall that falls will be beneficial in terms of helping us out with fire danger and so on and so forth. But overall, the main activity will be north of Cape Mendocino, where they will get like an inch of rain or so. Been gone for a little while. Get some coffee. Down in Big Sur, we'll talk story after we do some weather. Remember, feel free to scrub through this. I think it's some of the things I have for you are just frivolous and interesting, I think. But if you want weather, and I know you do if you're here, and you want to kind of get to it, because like my buddy Mike Rodart, who pours concrete up has a concrete company. He goes the other day, he called me. He goes, "Dude, I love you, man, but I'm not going to sit and listen to this stuff, and I need to get to your forecast." And so you scrub through and you'll see the model runs. You'll see the different model runs and you'll see them lined up nicely. So that way I can do me and you can do you, or we can do us. Well, that's interesting. That's heavy. No, I like it though. I like it because my mind works in different ways. Like I love taking this, like what we'll do right now. So there's the dense fog advisory. There's dense fog up in Truckee, up in that area. So we'll go to Visalia. There's the fog. And what we can see from this picture, as it just updated, is the valley fog, the dense fog advisory, it's lifting out, right? I looked at this a little while ago. The fog was down lower. So we're up pretty high, too. We're up above the fog. But the fog is, right, it's warm. It's heating from above, the heating from below, the air is rising, the air is mixing, the fog goes away. That inversion is getting busted out. So that's Visalia, Porterville, which my family's from. My ancestors are from Porterville. I used to raise horses, and my great grandfather used to raise horses for Leland Stanford. That's my middle name, Leland Martin. My son's middle name's Leland, because they used to raise. Leland Stanford was into race horses. If you know anything about the governor of the state, the founder for Stanford University. He's kind of an interesting guy. He's polarizing, but he got super into, after they got the railroad kind of going and other things, other deals they were doing, some nefarious, some not so, but he got into racing horses and he got real good at it. My grandfather used to have a farm down in Porterville and raise horses for him and so on. And here I am, William Leland Martin II. My son's William Leland Martin III. I like Bill. And the 2-3 thing sounds kind of, if it's a weird thing, I don't really play that card, but it's also, I like it. I like that connection. This is Truckee from Palisades, Tahoe. And no dense fog advisory in Truckee this morning, but it's very dense and it's cold. Down in that fog, like above this fog, this is what an inversion is. Inversions confuse people all the time. All inversion is a stable environment, which means that this air, right in this layer, that's cold. And what does cold air do? Sinks. So that when air sinks, it's just absolutely stable, right? Stable, in other words, you're going to keep the cold air in. There's no mixing. There's no real chance for some kind of a weather event. You can get thunderstorms in over the top of it sometimes. But my point is, this cold air is sinking. So everything above here is essentially warmer. The air above is warmer. So if you were up on the top, if you're up at the top of Mount, whatever that is, or Mount Siberia, I don't know which mountain that is. That's like the top is Palisades. But if you're at the top up there, it's way warmer than way down here, which is unusual, right? When you're at the top of a mountain, it's usually cooler. But in this case, it's cooler down in the valleys, warmer up on the mountaintops, and that's an inversion. This is down at the airport, and you see the sun kind of coming through. This is Truckee Airport. I'm sure this morning the fog was really nasty. I'm going to think that, And that airport moves some people in and out. And I would think this fog at a smaller airport like this would definitely cause some flight delays. And they fly some big stuff in here. Let's take a look. I want to see if it does a shot. Sometimes you'll scan up, and we can see if it's breaking out. This is as of about 10:14 this morning. But it's a nasty fog. Okay. That's as far as we're going to go. Okay. And then these are the forecast, or these are not. These are the observed overnight lows from last night. So in that fog at Truckee, it's 30 degrees in the fog. Above the fog, well, up in Palisades, up in the Olympic Valley, it's 43 degrees. So it's 13 degrees warmer at essentially the same elevation, a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but not much. Now, top of Siberia, it's probably temperatures in the 50s, mid 50s by now, probably upper 50s. So these are the forecast or the temperatures overnight. It was 60 or 50 in Sacramento this morning. There's the Bay Area. Find your numbers. The kind of teal color there is a surf. It's not a surf advisory as an alert, like, okay, there's some swell out there. And there is some swell out there. I saw some, dude. It was big down the coast. There's that dense fog advisory. You can see it's kind of, they've eroded it a little bit. It was bigger this morning, so it was more up into here. So it is starting to burn off in the Central Valley. And then this purple from Lompoc up to Lucia, essentially Lucia, almost Lucia, you've got a high surf advisory, which is big. So that's an interesting footprint for a high surf advisory. And then this purple area is a small craft advisory, which is very typical as well. And you guys in Southern California, south of Point Conception in here, weather's awesome. It's cool overnight though, right? You got, 55, 54 degrees at the beaches, but highs today in Los Angeles are going to go 60, I think I wrote it down here, 60, 75 degrees in Los Angeles today, 72 in Venice, and Redding will go 80 degrees. This is Bishop, kind of looking out towards Bishop. Bishop's up here, Owens Valley. Whenever I see that, I go, that used to be a lake, Owens Lake. If you know much about water history, in the state of California, this is probably the textbook case for stealing water. Like that's the only way to put it. And that was Mulholland and Eaton and those guys. It's interesting what they did and how they did it, and I understand why they did it too, because that was a time westward expansion. We need to grow this big city. We need to grow the West. We need to, right? San Francisco or Los Angeles was always the kind of, San Francisco was the hub because of the gold rush and the silver mines. Southern California didn't have a leg to stand on, but they had a railroad that was going there, and they had people trying to go there, and they wanted people, so it became a salesmanship thing. And if we could get this water a couple hundred miles down to Los Angeles, and they did, we could develop that area quite a bit. So, but the farmers, that was a big farming community. I mean, that's a huge fertile valley, and so there was a lot of agriculture going there. So the history of Owens Valley, along with Muscle Shoals, are probably the two most vivid struggles against the farmer against big business. But Cadillac Desert, just a good book. It's written forever ago. They've updated it. They did an updated version. It's pretty good. So there's Owens Valley. Owens Valley today will go 68 degrees. This is in the surf warning area. This is Halama, Point Conception. No, it doesn't stick out as far as Cape Mendocino. Cape Mendocino, you think, like right here, you go, the Cape Mendocino looks like it's, well, it doesn't. But I always thought Point Conception stuck out farther, but it really doesn't. Obviously, when you look at it latitudinally, longitudinally, lines of longitude, it's literally sticks further out. It's further out in the ocean than Point Conception. So you probably already knew that. But anyway, that's where this picture is. It's a great shot because it's kind of the California bite, they used to call it. And that's where weather changes quite a bit from this north to south. North of here gets more rain certainly than south of here, as well as currents and ocean currents and sea life and so on. This is Lake Tahoe, Bliss State Park. Again, Lake Tahoe will make it into the upper 60s today. This is San Diego State, University of California, San Diego. San Diego is going to go 70 degrees today. They got a little surf along the coast and just a beautiful place, San Diego, with temperatures today They're going to get in the 70s. These are the forecast highs for today, and tomorrow will be about the same. Very, very nice day tomorrow, actually. And then it changes a little bit, and then we're going to get to that right now. So if you're just joining us, and it scrubbed off all that stuff, which I respect that, actually. It's like, you just want your weather, man. This is the GFS, okay? So this is the 12Z run. Let me get some coffee. And this is what went through. So if I let me move this a little bit. I don't think you can even see that. Okay, so this is that system. See this guy over here? That's what brought the thunderstorms the other night and scattered showers yesterday. To parts out by Salinas and areas like that had a few sprinkles. But that moves on. Little ridge pumps up. Can you see that little ridge? Little ridge, just short. But then you see what's coming. And see how close together the isobars are, those black lines. They're not thicknesses, but that there you can just go, oh, it's like a topographic map. When the contours get really close together, the hill gets steeper. Or, right, it either gets steeper up or steeper down. In this case, it gets steeper down because it's close together and it moves quickly. So that's essentially a frontal system. And that's flow. This is the part that was confusing everybody when I left. I've been gone for a bunch of days. But see that flow we call that a zonal flow. And it's a straight line move. It's just basically everything coming from here is going this way, and there's nothing to slow it down. When the jet stream so the moisture getting scooped up from any kind of moisture source is just getting fire hosed against the side of against the in this case the Olympics, the coastal range, all the mountain ranges on the west, and it just unloads. So this will be a very productive pattern from Cape Mendocino north. This is Saturday afternoon. Let me back up a little bit. I got going too far here, so back up a little bit. Let's just get through to the next 2 days. So there's the ridge today and tomorrow, right? So the ridge, nice couple days. Now we're starts to change over Friday afternoon. Some scattered showers. See it? And that makes sense. You can see where you are. I hope you can see where you are. The strongest dynamics, Sunday morning early, but further north. So see right there? So the best chance based on this, just looking at the upper air, we're up in a loft, for showers for the Bay Area is right there, which is Saturday morning. Yeah, right? So Saturday looks like kind of from the Bay Area. I'm thinking populations now. North, you guys are getting wet. You guys, my buddies up in Cape Mendocino, Point Arena, you guys are wet, man. But everybody south, it's like, maybe a little more like what we had yesterday in some cases. A few scattered showers. It's not a deal breaker. You're getting your 18 holes in. Not in Redding, but in Sacramento. I know. But this could have been, and this is what was being advertised, that's a really awesome pattern for rainfall for us. That's why they're doing big control, because see the dynamics up here. There's the flat line. There's the zonal flow. And whenever you see that, that's when people start talking AR. That's what they're talking about. They're just going. I mean, I don't know we'll look at the moisture plume, but that's just that straight line. When you get that AR, when you get moisture tied into that, it just goes off. It's a conveyor belt. One of the things we can talk about is, how can I say this? So when the jet stream ridges, like if that was ridging like that, when the winds come into that, they slow down. They slow down. And when they come down the hill, they speed up, right? So there's this constant speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. What's the word? Nah, I can't think of it right now. Plus, it would be too difficult to understand. But the idea is, you're not slowing down at all. You're just going wham, right? So that 140 mile an hour jet is going wham. Now, when you get a ridge, it slows that jet stream down, the jet core, the speed, and that tends to it moves the storms around. It changes the positioning. It changes the intensity of storms. It can increase it. It can decrease it, but it's pulses. This bad boy is just nonstop. Boom, goes. Okay, I hope I explained that well. Okay, so that's what we know is going to happen. So if I go here next week, that's a pretty good ridge. So really, the story right now is this. Okay. So now we go down to sea level pressure. Here is this Saturday morning, right? Saturday morning. You can, if you're savvy and you've paid attention, you know what thickness lines look like, and you know what the isobars look like. You go, okay, thickness lines are dropping, so that's your cold front, if you can call it that. And this is Saturday afternoon. What do you do with that, right? So it's Saturday afternoon, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Still good weather up in wet weather north of Ukiah, and then it just kind of fizzles away, right? So now we're down there. We're November 2nd, November 3rd. So when I say us, I'm thinking population centers, which isn't cool. Because in TV, we used to do that too. I couldn't really talk to you guys in Ukiah directly because they go, well, listen, you got a minute and a half. We really had to pay attention to the Bay Area and Los Angeles because it's huge in Sacramento Valley, Sacramento and Fresno, Bakersfield. But these areas up here are going to get a fair amount of rain. So let's look at the North American model. This is radar depiction, Saturday morning. Okay, that's Saturday morning. Find yourself. Where are you? Are you bugged by this? Is this going to change your plans? I'm right in the lower end. Most of us that are watching are probably in the Bay Area. Southern California, you're like, whatever. And then here we are into Sunday morning. So the weekend just looks slightly unsettled, not enough to change your plans. I'm going to do I want to do this rainfall accumulation. I like this map. 24-hour accumulation, total precip accumulation. Okay, so let's go back on this one. This is North American model. And we'll go, and this is that one that just adds it up. So we'll go, who's getting rain? Okay, so this is as of Saturday morning, rainfall, 1/4 inch north of Cape Mendocino. Saturday morning, early. This is Saturday afternoon. And look at Crescent City. Oh, almost 2 inches of rain. 1/2 inch at Cape Mendocino, Ukiah, 1/4 inch. That is Saturday evening. This is Sunday morning. So you see the conundrum, right? Right. I mean, that's good stuff for certainly Mount Lassen, Ukiah North. And then look at the you talk about atmospheric river. Look at Oregon, over 2 inches of rain, and then we kind of wind down. So that's that, right? So that says it all. That says it all. Where do you live in that footprint? Are you pouring concrete in that footprint? Well, then you may want to think. But look at the Central Valley, those dry slots. So it's really, this is really going to be, and that's the signature of the zonal flow. Is you're going to see the activity on the orographic side, which is going to be in the coastal hills, coastal mountains, Trinity Alps, and then up into the Cascades. But in the valley, you're sort of not, there's no dynamics to really, there's moisture, but it needs that hill to push it up. Okay. All right. Hope that made sense. I was gone for a while, so I have so many things I want to talk about. This is the low pressure. That's a beautiful shot. Isn't that nice? You can see also why I was getting excited about it last week, because that's a nice looking weather system. This is the one that brought the thunderstorms last night. This is why it's so cold in the Mississippi, Ohio Valley. Really cold there, really cold. And they have freeze warnings, frost advisories right in there. Because that's how the rotation on that thing, right? It's just grabbing. This is a warm advection. This is a cold advection. Because you're bringing air from from Toronto, almost Greenland, all the way down into here. So that's why you have freeze warnings, freeze advisories, frost advisories. And then there's that dense fog advisory we looked at extensively. And there's the surf advisory along the coast. This is, above average temperature the next 6 to 10 days. Average precipitation the next 6 to 10 days. So nothing really standing out. Earthquakes. It's 5.6. The last quake was 14, quake 5. So these are all 5 and aboves. So it's been kind of quiet today. These are, there's one. This is just in the last hour, this guy. So that's 4.6 off Alaska. Again, subduction zone. There's some quakes in California. These are all above. I think these are above 2.5. So San Diego has one out by the Salton Sea, I believe. Westmoreland, that was 3.1. And then Los Angeles had a little quake over 2.5 in Fontana. And yeah, Earth's always moving, man. And then this is the swell, which I think is potentially going to be big for the next week or so, and you'll see that here. So here we are kind of this afternoon. Not giant, but big enough that if you got a wave storm and you're just learning to surf, you probably want to find a really sheltered, clean inland point, place like, you know, like the Bolinas Reef or somewhere like that, somewhere that's not so, that's going to blow you up, because the sets will be pretty good. And the swell stays pretty decent size and it cools down, it mellows out a little bit on Sunday. And then you see more swell come in here. That's towards the end of next week, towards November 2nd. And a lot of swell in the Atlantic. Okay, and then live pictures. This is Ocean Beach this morning. Winds, not a good direction. Swell, deceptively big, or small. Deceptively small, that would make sense, right? Yeah, because that's a pretty good size, man. And then this is Zuma Beach, which again, this is an example, you guys, if you're just learning, you can find, like, there's surf advisories along the coast just north, but if you get under the point, inside the point, you get these little rollers, like literally your grandma could go out there and have fun, right? And that's what you want when you're learning. You want this. You want this. You want to just learn how to take off. You want to get your arms strong, and there's places like that where you really, the rip currents here are minimal, and it's just very safe. That's Zuma Beach. This is Mount Shasta. We looked at it once. You can kind of see the cirrus clouds coming in. That's an indication that the weather's changing, typically. I'll put a little loop on. We'll see if we'll see them moving in the right direction. Oop, that's not cool. God dang it, they just changed the camera angle. Did they? Yeah. Okay, well, then we're not going to get to do what we were going to do. This is Palisades Tahoe live camera. They have a good 4K camera. It's the snow that's left around. This is live. That's a good camera. Palisades, you guys are on it. I see the bugs flying around, or I think those are bugs, or isn't that interesting? Or is that just spider webs on the lens? Maybe cobwebs. Went to Big Sur, Highway 1 closed. Awesomeness. Like, they, it shut down because of the slide. I'm sorry about that, but it was awesome because I was camped up there, and I camped right, about 12 miles, 14 miles below the slide. So the road from where I was staying up to the slide, there's nobody because there's no through traffic. I mean, there were a couple construction trucks, but I just cruised, dude. It was so awesome. It was so awesome to be on that Highway 1 without any cars. It was foggy, cloudy, low clouds, but it was really glassy. It was super glassy. It was awesome. It was awesome. I felt like that was really special. Because when does that happen? So I'm going to spend a little more time down there, I think, as I get closer to them opening it, because I realize that you don't get Big Sur empty. So it might be a hot tip for you. And I don't like electric bikes, sorry, but if you got an electric bike and you want it, it's really worth it. Like, start at Plaskett Creek and just run up to, I'm kind of whispering, like we're just between us. But you can run up to the slide. I thought I could get through the slide, but I kind of got yelled at by some lady. She was really nice. She scared me. She had an orange vest on, and she was like, "What are you doing?" Because she was in her car. I think she was snoozing, but she was working. But you're just waiting to stop people. So, but I kind of I didn't see her, and I kept riding through, and then she yelled at me, and it was kind of, I felt bad because I wasn't as nice as I should have been. I was nice, but I wasn't. Monterey Bay, awesome. But I wasn't, I should have been nicer because she scared me. When you get scared, you're like, I wasn't really scared. I was just alerted, awakened. This is Venice Beach, which is fun to watch. Never gets old. So, Venice got its name. Venice, it was known as Venice of America. And who was the guy? I think I wrote Abbott Kinney. Yeah, Abbott Kinney. Because California has always been about salesmanship, right? It's like we built this railroad out there. We have interests out there, railroad interests. we want people to move there, and we want to be able to take our goods from the east and move them to the west. And so we got to get people to go there. So how do you do it? You go, listen, healthiest place in the world. You go out there, cure all diseases. That's what San Diego is. San Diego was a health spa. That's where you went in the turn of the century to get better. My dad's mom, my grandma, went, she had breast cancer and she was dying. And they sent her and dad, and he was a young guy, down to San Diego to get better. That's how you, it's kind of like people, some people, it's not the same actually, but it's, I was going to say some people go to Mexico because of, but that's different because of drug treatment changes, but laws. But no, this area, so that was, you were selling it. And true, I believe that weather does impact you quite a bit. Richard Henry Dana, 2 years before the Mass, they put him on a boat before the gold rush, a Harvard or Yale law student, because he was so sickly. And they go, we're going to send you on a boat around the Horn. We're going to send you to the west coast of the United States. Already it had been, get you out of these cities because these cities are killing us, right? Because of urbanization and industrial revolution and so on. And he went up and down the coast and wrote about what he saw. And he actually did become more robust. And so there's a whole thing with California and the salesmanship of California. In Venice Beach, Venice of America, just got shortened to Venice, was kind of a sales job. And they built the canals because it was kind of swampy down there. And I think they were just like, what can we do? What can we do? It's like it's like Route 66. Remember you'd see the dinosaurs on the side of the road? You were trying to get people out here. And interesting. I mean, now we're trying to keep people away from here because it's so busy. But California originally was getting people out here. And how did we do it? I've traced back the Sutter Buttes. Sutter, it was just a small example, but Sutter Buttes were like, I was like, what? It's the smallest mountain range in the world. Even Doug Powell, my geography professor, was like, yeah, it's the smallest mountain range in the world. And I looked it up and I go, it's not. They don't measure mountain range. There's no way to measure a mountain range. There's never been a protocol for that. It was and I got deeper into it, and at least my interpretation was it was a developer selling land next to the smallest mountain range in the world in California. Everything was like, it was like there were carnival barkers bringing people into a place that you didn't really need carnival barkers, but they wanted to populate it quickly so they could sell goods and services, so the railroad could sell the land, so the Big Four could sell the land adjacent to the railroad, and then blah, 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 read the octopus. That's a whole nother story. Okay, it's nice to be back. I hope you got what you want to remember. Next time, too, same deal. Just scrub away, because beginning, sometimes I kind of get into what I want to talk about. In the end, I clearly just grind on how awesome California is. Okay, talk to you soon.